Yeah, so moved.
Moved by Councilman Brown to adjourn. Have a second? Councilman Richards, seconds. Any further discussion? Further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. We stand adjourned. We'll go into the work session. Katie, do you have anything else at this time?
Yeah, I remembered what I was gonna talk about. Just a reminder, we do have a snow route ordinance. We both one business downtown that likes to park their vehicles in the street. So people need to follow that when it snows. Not every night, just when it snows. That's all. Thank you.
Do we need to publish that again?
It might not hurt to have maybe on the side of the paper, a little reminder. Maybe if we see the forecast is gonna turn.
And those people, I'm sure, are aware of that ordinance. I hope.
I'm sure they are.
Okay, Glenn.
Nothing further.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is our purchasing policy that we have in place dated August 6, 2013.
I'd like to ask Matt, I don't know if your statement's directed to me or not, but it was my understanding that if you buy something outside of the city, it's gotta be 10% less than in the city. And I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't believe that's written in our policy.
I didn't see that.
If there's a bid, then you can go with the lowest.
You can go over.
Long time ago, there used to be a 5% grace for inside the city.
But anyway, getting back to your statement, if it was directed to me, there's a little bit of road there, but I don't have the power to dictate to this council what the purchasing policy is, so I'm not trying to act or
To
anything.
be clear, I don't know the name of the counselor that said this to the person that made the complaint to me. They said councilmen have been saying that certain businesses, we should boycott a certain business or something like that, and staff was feeling that they weren't allowed to go to a certain business. And that was kind of shocking to me that they were taking that as council policy when they said it came from a single person.
You know, for my
I don't know if that
part,
was you or someone else.
I have only said, I've never mentioned boycott anybody, but I think as a city, we owe it to the citizens of Beloit to shop within the boundaries of Beloit because they pay property tax and they collect the sales tax that pays for our streets. So that was my point. Now, what went on from there, I can't dictate, and I've never advocated boycott anybody.
I agree with you. I think we should shop local when everything else is equal. But if we're going to save a lot of money, or we're going to save a lot of convenience, or we're going to save, in some other aspect that makes another person more competitive, I don't think we should shoot ourselves in the foot just to.
Well, is there a standard, Mandy, for purchasing in or out of the city? If you get bids?
A lot of the things that we're buying out there are small things, but Lloyd, what's your question, Lloyd?
We can't, I don't think we can actually make a blanket statement like that we
Oh, no.
should shop inside the city limits, because there's a whole lot of stuff we can't get inside the city limits.
right.
So,
And I noticed the things that have been bought outside the city were certain types of boots, high boots the guys wear when they're working on sewer lines, a lot of all that stuff. But I think that business on the corridor, they buy power from us and they use our utilities and they pay for them. And some of those people own property within the city limits of Beloit that they're paying property tax on that. So I think we need to be able to do business there. And it's my understanding we can still do business at that establishment, but we just can't charge. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah, they closed a credit account. We're not a big user at that one, so they've made a decision since that's usually for their larger purchasers, that they would just close that credit account. And there was a business decision to do that. So,
Ken?
Seems like in the last 2 weeks, boycott has been the big word that I've read in the newspaper, etc. I mean, my gosh, people, we're in this together.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care if they live on the outside, on the east side of Highway 24, or on the west side of 24. We're all still part of Beloit.
A big part of
I
it.
mean, and there's no reason in the world why we should even have to be discussing this, because I'm not for sure where it came from, but it wasn't right. And somehow, if a business person got that idea, then an apology needs to be made.
Well, I'd go a little bit further. We got Mr. Abram here tonight, we got a letter from him, and I 100% agree with him. He collects a lot of sales tax in this town, he pays a lot of property tax. And when we build a street, we ought to be buying cement from him, period.
I
Unless
didn't
somebody
get,
else
I
is a
didn't
whole
get
lot
Mr.
lower.
Abrams' letter, so I don't know what.
Paul mentioned, what, 2 to 5%, well,
This was,
I didn't get that.
he delivered it to me.
that's where I understood that you had to be 10% lower, but I agree. Paul spends a lot of money in this town, and he collects a lot of taxes.
I think
Well,
a lot of it is what it.
I agree with what you're saying there, but also you gotta stop and look that Beloit Ready Mix is also a customer of the city of Beloit. You gotta look at it as a business.
Well,
They are a customer,
let him get annexed and pay our taxes. That's all I got to say.
still a customer, I mean.
Yeah, he told me.
There, I think something that's going unspoken is, would this have been coming up had there not been the 3 mile conversation going on in the community and some of the heated statements that have been going on at planning commission? And I think we're kind of dancing around a root issue here, and I think to me, it sounds like retribution. You're coming after the city, you're fighting the city's desire to do the extraterritorial zoning, and now the city's coming down and saying, we're not gonna shop from you. To me, that's the way it looks, and I think that stinks, and I think it's bad policy, it's gonna bite us in the butt,
I agree.
and I.
Well, it's not only gonna bite us, but everybody.
I'm speaking
And that's
as a
not-
city.
Yeah, as a city.
I mean, you're talking the city, you're talking the county, you're talking everybody.
And we're talking businesses will be affected
That's
within the
right.
city limits too. You know, 'cause
I-
it's all, and it's like we pointed out earlier, it's all inclusive. The outside's just as important as inside. You know, we need them, they're part of our community. A lot of those people that own the ground outside this city limits, whether it's a business or a farmer, a lot of them live in town too. I mean, I just don't ever want to get in this, it's like the old school consolidations. All of a sudden you get this going and a neighbor that's grew up together, known each other for 50 years, now they don't speak. You know, we don't need that in our community. We got so many positive things going on, you know, with our growth and what we're trying to do. And what we're trying to do is be positive and look to the future. You know, we're not trying to step on anybody's toes. But, you know, this is turning into us against them on the perimeter or on outside. And I think it's, you know, we just don't
Well,
need
when this got started, I was on the planning commission about this plan, and that 3 mile or whatever never was discussed when I was on the planning commission. And the way I look at it, I've worked for people all around here, inside the city limits, outside the city limits, and what does that 3 mile thing do? I can't see it gonna help the city at all.
Well, I think we're at the point where the planning commission needs to do what they're doing, and then they present their findings to us. I mean, isn't that the way it's supposed to
Yeah.
work?
Right, yeah, they will
I mean, I don't
go
think
through the
we can
hearing and
sit
then
here
come
and
make a
make
recommendation to the council,
Discussions
so
and vote on
get a little ahead of that.
Because it's the planning commission's job to go through that, bring it to the city council, and then we either approve or disapprove.
Key is, Kent, that what they're bringing to us is a comprehensive plan. Now, they got 2 members that are gonna vote against it. The comprehensive plan has nothing to do with that 3 mile.
They don't,
That
they're
is a
not
plan
planning.
for the city of Beloit.
Will they vote, Katie?
No, there has been no vote. There will be a vote to approve the comprehensive plan after the public hearing. What they're doing is voting to recommend to send that plan to the city council for approval. And that's when you guys can hash it out and discuss it. Or you're a little premature because, you know, there could be a
Is that
chance it may
3
not
mile
even
thing
come
in
to
that
you.
plan?
so.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's in there.
We have a question from Lloyd.
Getting back to what's on the agenda, my personal opinion is, I think that we ought to leave the purchasing policy as it is right now.
I agree.
And all the city employees should know that they're supposed to follow those rules. And it doesn't have any business name in there, it doesn't say inside or outside the city limits. Yeah, that's my opinion.
I agree. Any other questions on the policy? Got it right. Okay. Thank you, Lloyd. Next on the agenda is the WAPA resolution with the Western Area Power Administration. Lloyd, you want to go through this?
Yeah, real quick, this has to do with wholesale power. Western Area Power Administration is actually a federal agency out in Colorado. We have historically bought power from them. It's hydropower, it's cheap, it's clean, some of the best power you can actually get. They, we've had a long-term contract. What they are proposing is to extend our contract, which runs out 2024, another 30 years. So when we agree to that, it's gonna be like 2054 or whatever at that point. And it's just extended basically under the terms that you got now. What's driving that was some concern at the federal level that there would be changes that would move this hydropower to more of a market-based. Right now, it's more of a cost-based type of a deal that we get, and that's what we prefer it to stay at, and that's what WAPA actually prefers it. So they really want to kind of do this so Congress doesn't do anything in the future that would alter pretty cheap and clean power that we get.
This doesn't alter the rates.
It doesn't. It just really extend under the current agreement. That's all they really want to do. So we bring a resolution at the next meeting to say we want to have WAPA power until 2054. So basically, we're kind of willing your kids and your grandkids hydro power into the future is what you're doing. And some of us will still be around, maybe in 2054. Never know. It's a long way out. But anyway, that's just kind of what's happening at the federal level. They want everybody who wants to continue on this to just extend the existing agreement for another 30 years and go on with it. So
Are the power rates they offer favorable to us?
they're some of the cheapest power that you can find. Yes, they really are. They really are some of the cheapest.
And currently it's at this price right here, 2.0.
Yeah, it's usually around 2 cent power is what it is, which if we could get that, well, I would take all of it. Yeah, every day if you could get that. But it's limited, they haven't as much snow or rainfall in the Rockies that they historically have, so, they cut back a little bit on what they supply, but yeah, if you could get 2 cent power, you take it. I mean, it's almost down to nothing, but, so that's what we're gonna do. We'll just continue with our current allocation, the current price for another 30 years. That's it.
Sounds like a good deal.
So, yeah, so we'll have that on the next meeting.
Okay, we'll move on with that then.
All right, very good.
Bob, a comment or a question?
First, Matt, I appreciate your statement. You've got a great way of presenting stuff. Things need to be tempered. But I need to address what Tony said. I want to know who I harassed.
You're running around all the department heads and stuff.
What? The only department head I've talked to is Ronnie and maybe Chris. I have not talked to Jim Vince, I haven't talked to Cliff Clark, so I don't know who's telling me this, but I don't appreciate it. This is gonna be in the paper.
Good.
Now, how am I supposed to sell city property?
That's what I'd like to know.
Well, who's telling you this?
That's what I'd like to know.
Who's telling you this? Glenn, if I tried to sell.
another time and
Let's,
place.
you
No,
got
this has to be done right now, because this is gonna be in the paper.
Purchase.
If I tried to sell. Purchase? How would I try to purchase city property?
I'm told that you're coming to property owners and saying the city would sure like to have it, and we offer you this, and we probably offer a lot more.
And what authority would I have to do that?
Well, that's kind of why.
Well, whoever's talking to you, and Glenn, I think you can back me on this, that's the biggest crock of bull I ever heard, and I want in the paper, Tony Gingler is a damn liar.
Hey.
Period.
We don't need to be going.
Yeah, that's what we need, that's what we need.
We don't
Because
need
I'm
that.
sick of this. That is the most underhanded, unethical thing I have ever heard in my life. And it's very unbecoming a city councilman. So, case closed.
Meeting adjourned.
Somebody can get their butt sued if they ain't careful.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, good question. Well, it's down, yeah, and I don't know how far that's gonna fall, but, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. I have no idea. He called me and said, the things from, the things that were.
Yeah, I would really like to have that.
So he said he wanted
I'll say anything that's on there.
outside of that,
Yeah, I mean,
what property?
if you were at the meeting. No, I wasn't. I heard about it. So I heard things like that. I've heard that similar type of saying.
I got previous meetings on her. I want to tell you. Yeah, the oil's good, yeah.
I don't know how many ideas.
I don't know where he's getting his information.
I don't think so. I think it's all.
Not right now.
Probably further, I think the Saudis are trying to.
He said,
Yeah. It's a good thing you know. Yeah, and it's.
Jump over the wire.
Yeah, you know, we knew the price of oil was gonna be 6 months.